Hey everybody, welcome to our podcast. We are
Clover! Today you are here with Amani,
Helen,
Alora, and Haley.
Today we're going to do a retelling of Am I the Asshole of the Poet X. Hi Reddit, I, 15 female, live in Harlem and have always had a complicated relationship with my body and my family, especially my super strict Catholic mom. I've never really had the space to express myself. Anytime I speak up, it feels like I'm never heard. But I found something that really helps me. Poetry. I write about everything, my feelings, my body, and my questions about faith, even the boy I might like. One day, my English teacher invited me to join a slam poetry club. I didn't tell my mom because I knew she'd say no, so instead of going to church classes, I started going to poetry club every week. I finally felt heard and respected for the first time in my life. Eventually, I started to fall for this guy, Aman, who always listened to me without judging. Again, another thing I kept secret from my mom, because if my mom knew I liked a boy, it would be over. Then one day, during a day of school, my mom caught me kissing Aman, and that's when everything blew up and my mom got very angry at me and punished me for being a quiddle. After a while, I was able to go poetry slam. I was invited to perform at. It was the best night of my life, but then during my birthday, I accidentally left my poetry journal at home, and my mom found it. She read every poem I'd ever written in my journal, and then she screamed at me, told me I was a sinner, told me I was disrespecting her and God, and then burned my journal right in front of me. Oh my God, what a wretch. After that, she grounded me indefinitely, took my phone, forbade me from going to poetry club, forbade me from talking to Aman. She said I was corrupting myself and the family. I still believe I should be able to express myself and have a voice, but my mom says I humiliated her and turned back on everything, so she's done for. So, am I the asshole for keeping my poetry a secret and choosing a poetry event over church? Okay, so what do you guys think about it?
I think her mom is really strict for no reason.
No.
And I think she should be able to, read poetry. Not read, but write poetry. Yeah. Because, that's what she likes. And I think if her mom was really religious, I think God would want her to do that.
I think it's not a big deal. God says to do whatever you want, so I feel like her mom should have expressed that more instead of just being like, no, you're at the confines of being who you are to my belief. You know?
Yeah. I see it, from her mom's perspective, just, a little bit, because I'm guessing since she's, really religious, she kind of thinks that that's what's best for her daughter, and having that kind of life is what's best for her daughter. But since that's not the life that the daughter here is choosing, then that's just, creating, a rift in the relationship. And, yeah, I think the mom's just kind of, overreacting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like the mom being, surprised at first on what her daughter wrote was, expected. But leading into her, burning the journal instead of just, talking to her about her feelings and, thinking about her daughter's perspective on how religion was forced onto her would be, a better reaction. And, maybe just having her daughter, talk to someone and, maybe, counseling or something instead of her overreaction like that.
Yeah, I feel like her mom, they're so concerned on holding onto their past belief and traditions that it was inevitable to happen. It was going to happen one way or another.
I feel like it comes from the fact that they're not, from there. They're not from Harlem, and they're from a different, background. And that's why her mom is so strict, because she grew up differently. And so she just wants to keep her daughter, sheltered and, keep her safe from all this bad stuff. And really, she's just hindering her, progress and growing.
Yeah, which then goes back to what Helen said about the hindering rift.
Yeah, I also remember, in the book, Xiomara, she really described that, her mom would, in her youth, was going through, a religious path, but that was interrupted whenever she got married to Xiomara's dad, and that there's, some underlying kind of, tension between them, because I think that kind of was showing that her mom in a way blamed her dad and basically just the family in general for taking her away from her religion in the way that she wanted to pursue it. And so now she's kind of putting what she wanted her path to be onto Xiomara,
instead of to live through her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was really about that, and I feel like her dad, he did play a big role, because even though her parents weren't, her mom was in distress when she met a boy, I think it's very much because of the fact that her mom ended up in what is basically an unhappy marriage. It doesn't sound good. She doesn't talk about it with pride. Every time she mentions her parents being together, it's never happy. They don't sound like they're in love with one another. They're just together because she got pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he put a ring on it, because she literally talks about how her dad was a hooch in the past.
Yeah.
And doesn't and it's like, of course, when you're married to somebody who is known for messing around, you're going to have that same expectation, or you're going to have that same ideal with a whole bunch of other guys that come into your daughter's life, is that you don't want her to fall into what you just fell into. Mm-hmm. Which is why her mom's like, no, stay with God. If I just stayed with God, I wouldn't have become this way.
Like, she regrets her actions and, like, how it, like, what she went through. And so she's, like, trying to protect her from that. But it's not working. Like, she's hurting her more. And she's just still stuck on the past of, like, her life not going how she wanted to, and just, like, being so committed to God because she got pregnant. And that's what's really hurting the relationship.
Yeah. It's more than anything else. Okay. Do you have any other... Yeah.
I have another thought. I think it also doesn't help that her mom is kind of, in a way, comparing Xiomara to her twin, because her twin is very, like, well-behaved, goes to church without any complaints, you know, does all that. But Xiomara has, like, more... What's it called? Like, she's more resistant to that stuff.
More
They're
stubborn.
very different people, but her mom keeps comparing them, which isn't right. Like, her mom comparing her to her twin, it's never going to help anything, because they're two different people, and they're always going to be two different people.
A boy no less. That
Exactly.
She hates on men. Like
they're different.
She doesn't hate on men, but she doesn't want her daughter around men. So it's crazy to me that you're comparing your daughter to a boy.
Exactly. She's definitely a mom. Like, she's
Definitely
definitely
a
a boy mom.
That's how a lot of Latina moms are too. Like, whenever they have a son, especially if the son is older, they tend to, in a way, like, idolize them, baby them more than their daughter. They have, like, different standards for their daughter
They
than
see them
their
in a different
son.
light almost.
Yeah.
Like, they're so perfect, and then their daughter is just going to do something wrong because they did something wrong in their past.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
Yeah.
Because in the book, he doesn't even clean. And Yamada bring this up. He doesn't clean. He doesn't do anything. He just comes.
Smart.
He just does school and comes here and he reads comic books. And her mom's like, and what? That's a man.
It's because, like, he's not really rebelling against, like, the church as much as
Yamada.
Yeah.
Allure, any final words before we get into the update?
I feel like Xiomara, like, her entire life, she just had to walk around eggshells, like, around her mom. And, like, the one time she got to be herself around...
Aman.
The one time she got to be herself around Aman, she was just, like, just taking advantage of it. Because, like, he wasn't judging her for her, like, the decision she chose to make in life. And then, so I feel like her mom could have just really asked, like, she should have asked, like, for a second opinion from, like, an adult who, like, understood, like, both perspectives, instead of just immediately jumping to her main reaction.
Yeah. I feel like Aman had to be some fine shot, though. For her mom to be that worried?
What? Exactly. And Aman wasn't even that bad of a guy. Like, he was so chill.
He said, you want to listen to music in the park?
Exactly. Like, they were being so innocent. They were just being children. And her mom saw them kiss once, and then she flipped out. When, literally, it's not like they were fucking each other. Like, bro, they were just
She just probably thought, like, oh, if I saw them kissing this one time in public, like, what else have they, like, done?
Oh yeah, like, if they're
like, behind my back.
Like, if they're comfortable doing all this in public, what are they doing
behind
closed doors?
Wasn't his tongue in her mouth, bro, during that scene?
Yeah.
She probably thought, oh my gosh, she might get pregnant like I did when I was, like, young, and she won't be able to be with God, and that's probably why her mom flipped out so much.
She noticed the steps, and she wanted to, like, prevent it before anything can happen.
Yeah. Wasn't also Xiomara saying that, like, Aman was with a group of kids that were stoners and all that?
Yeah.
So, like,
he
he probably
smoker.
So he probably looked the part.
Too?
He does.
Like, they hang in that area all the time.
They live in, like, a kind of a bad area.
Well, it's Harlem, New York. It's not the Bronx, but it is Harlem.
I mean, it's
so
not
I'm not too surprised.
Because, I mean, like, Zidamada is, like, she keeps talking about, like, how, like, men are always sizing her up and stuff. So.
It's just a natural point of life at that point, and it's like, you are a Dominican woman, you will be fetishized. You are a Dominican woman, you will be fetishized. And I feel like it is just, it shouldn't be natural, but it has been normalized. So it's like, I think her mother is just more worried about her than anything. And I feel like even the poetry being a secret is like, if you're willing to not tell me about this, what else are you willing to not tell me about? I feel like that's what her mom's thinking of.
I feel like her mom shouldn't have flipped out as much as she did.
Yeah.
Like, like, the punishment that she had to go through, and the way that her mom and her dad were, like, degrading her, constantly, basically calling her a whore, like, it was really bad.
Yes, bro. And she was always in that damn red jacket, bro. She always talked about it. She always talked about that jacket. She always talking about Curried Up. And I feel like that scene, okay, but that scene with that boy, though, Amon, and that boy hitting on her, yeah. Yeah. And after,
And
like,
how he didn't stand up for her.
yes, bro, yeah. You're chop shit.
Yeah.
He lost all aura points.
But low-key, he was there and he let her stay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's an update. Maybe she's the update.
Let's into the update, guys. Okay, update. It's been a few weeks since I wrote the original post. After my mom found out about my poetry in Amman, I had to distance myself from her for some time and left home. When I was ready to go back home, I brought Father Sean with me to talk with my mom. Now my family has been attending counseling together ever since. Every week we attend counseling with Father Sean, and this has improved our connection with each other. My family even supports my poetry in relationship with Amman now. They have even attended my slam poetry event together. Thank you all for your positive comments and suggestions. My family and I will continue to work on our relationship from now on. Again, thank you. Okay, I like the ending. I think
It's a
actually
happy
nice.
It's a very happy ending.
I feel like it is very realistic. I don't know if it's realistic for the demographic it was marketed towards.
Yeah.
But I
Because
think
a
it
lot
is
of people, it could have went a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like a lot of parents would not listen and would just kick her out
Send
and
you
never let her
back to
come
the
back.
DR. She was literally saying she was gonna send her daughter back to the DR.
Yeah, because she ran away basically.
But like, girl, you burnt my journals.
Exactly, like right in front of her. Like that had all her thoughts ever, and she got that book from her twin.
Mm-hmm.
Like it meant everything to her, and her mom didn't care. Like burned it right in front of her, and just kept like basically calling her a bad person.
Yeah.
It was like she burnt it mostly because she kind of saw it as like the problem.
Yeah.
You know, what was causing her to rebel. When that's really not
The
what
real
was
problem
happening.
was
It's
her
like
mother.
saying
Yeah.
her freedom to write in the journal is like giving her free speech, so she thinks she can do with like whatever she wants now.
But W. Amon, because he let her stay at his house.
Yeah, even though it
when
got-
she ran away,
even though that scene got a little.
it got a little freaky.
Got a little hot and heated. Yeah,
just a
definitely
little
very much.
bit.
Girl, what are you talking about? I'm wearing his shirt all of a sudden.
Imagine her mom found out about that. Now
Yeah.
that would have been.
Oh, she would have
Back to the DR.
She would have been like, you know what? Actually, don't come back home. Actually,
You can live with him. A matter of fact, that's your man now. But I think I don't know. I think it's good. I like it. I like the fact that her and her mom were able to come together once again after the religious separation and their poetry separation. I think it's good that they were able to move past the burning of the poems, because that's not something a lot of people could do. A lot of people would hold a vendetta against their parents. A lot of people would not come back home.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad to take a really bad left turn to where she just was like, I hate everything. I'm gonna end it all immediately. Because you are already an oppressed woman in 2018. So, but this is before a lot of the movements. Of course, you have support, but it's very much downplayed, down low, and no one really cares too much about it. So I feel like for what could have happened in a realistic tone, it was really good.
I feel like it was as positive as it could have been, you know?
Yeah, what the narrator could have made it be, or not the narrator, because it's literally all narrated from Zamaras, but the author definitely made it come from a very realistic place, and the happiest she could, knowing what goes on in that culture, what happens, what often is the result of things like this happening. Because a lot of kids, I don't know, it's hard because a lot of kids hold so much, and I feel like their parents don't know. Like Yamada's mom didn't know, and she didn't know to what extent that would push her daughter when she picked those journals.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, she thought, oh, this is her just rebelling. This is just a stage of rebellion. It's just what's happening currently. But no, I feel like it's so much deeper than that. Especially with poetry, it's her personal. It's what she thinks. It's how she feels. So of course, yeah, her running away was just how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think like her mom didn't really realize how personal her journal and like the poetry that was in it was to Xiomara, because I feel like the only kind of emotion, like deep connection that her mom has to something like on the same level is her connection to her religion. And so I feel like that's really the only thing that she would see as worth a deep connection with, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't see the value in having that kind of deep emotional connection with something like poetry.
Yeah. Do you have our final thoughts left on the piece, guys, of our retelling?
I think it was a really good story, and it showcased a lot of things that happen to a lot of people who are like stuck in situations like this and like have really religious parents and can't really escape as much. And I think that's a good thing that like a lot of people are being represented with this story. Like it's like I hope it helps people in the future when it comes to situations like this, and everybody can have a good ending like her.
Yes. I think the retelling of the story did really good of highlighting the emotional feelings of everything that went down throughout the story. Highlighting the difficulty in relationships between her mother and her and her twins' own sexual upbringing, and how he's a little bit of a zest fest. But I thought it was good. I thought the intertwining of pathos within the story was good, and I don't know. The narration overall pretty good, and I think the relationship between her mom really did clear up her questions for religion, and her poetry did a really good job of just elaborating on everything she felt throughout the whole thing. It's even at the end of the day, ending the book with a poem to finalize her thoughts and finalize her feelings. But okay, Helen's note.
Okay, so before we give our ratings, I want to say like one thing. I want to go back to what Haley was saying earlier. I feel like what the author was really trying to do by writing this book was to kind of like, one, spread awareness of like the kind of family dynamic that she was writing about, and also kind of give what's it called, like a minority group representation, since they've been pretty like misrepresented in the media, and just haven't been represented really at all. So yeah, what are our ratings?
I think you want to go first. You guys want to go first?
I would rate it like an 8.5. It was really good. I like the story. It was very interesting.
Out of 10 clovers?
Yes. Okay. 8.5 out of 10 clovers. Okay. You guys?
I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I like the story. I just like think the ending was kind of not real. Like, I feel like it's like telling people like, oh, you can always like have like a happy ending or whatever, but sometimes that's not realistic for people going through like similar situations.
Oh, like kind of rushed.
Yeah.
But I feel like it can also like show like that a good ending can come out of a bad situation like that. But I see what you mean.
Yeah. I think I would give my rating a 9.5 out of 10 out of 10 clovers, 9.5 out of 10 clovers. Yep. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the book. It's 0.5 because, the ending. Not realistic to me. Not realistic to me, not realistic to my family dynamic.
Okay.
But at the same time, it is what it is. It's just a book. It's not meant to. It's just realistic fiction.
Yeah, I think I would give it an 8 out of 10, mostly because I like the ending. I like that it was a positive ending, although I don't think that that's very realistic in most people's cases. And also, I kind of wish that we got more closure on what happens with her twin, since there was the plot line of him being gay, and that wasn't really discussed thoroughly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that, because like they only mentioned it like a little at the end, like how he was looking at one of her friends, but that was it. Like we really didn't get anything else. Yeah, I kind of wish we did, but
yeah.
Anyway, guys, anybody have anything else to say?
I think I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you guys for listening to our retelling of the Poet X.
We are Clover, and we're signing out.